feel a pull, a loop you can't seem to break, a habit you know isn't serving you, and you've probably told yourself it's a personal failing, a lack of discipline, a lack of willpower. But the real reason you can't quit, it's not what you think. It's not a problem with your character. It's a problem with your brain's wiring. It's a neurological trap, and that trap isn't just about a private habit. It's spilling out into the real world. It's the reason we go on dates but feel nothing. The reason we get into relationships but feel disconnected. We have given our brains a reward that real life was never designed to compete with, and now we're just starting to understand that real love can't keep up. This is how that invisible loop is rewiring your brain, and how it's quietly destroying your chance at a real connection. This disconnection, it starts subtly, so subtly, you might even blame yourself. It looks like this: you're sitting across from someone new, they're smart, funny, and attractive. You should feel a spark, but you just feel flat. You feel bored. You find your mind drifting. You tell yourself you're just picky, but this happens again and again. The spark, it seems, is nowhere to be found. Or maybe you're in a relationship. You're lying next to the person you love, but you feel a wall between you, a strange, invisible distance. A quiet panic rises as you feel them look at you, because you feel like you can't compete, like you're being compared to an endless, perfect fantasy, and you're losing. Or maybe it's the most confusing feeling of all. You know you love your partner, but you feel checked out. You go through the motions of connection, but the feeling isn't there. You're physically present, but emotionally distant. This feeling, this disconnect, isn't a lack of love. It's a lack of response, a neurological numbness. This isn't a modern failing of love itself. It's a new, unprecedented neurological environment. It's a mismatch between our ancient brains and the modern world we built. To understand what's happening, we have to look at your brain's ancient reward system. You can think of it as your brain's go button. Its job is to make you repeat things that help you survive, like eating or finding a partner. When you do one of these things, your brain releases dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the chemical of pleasure. This is a critical misunderstanding. Dopamine is not about pleasure. It's about motivation. It's the jolt of anticipation. It's the feeling of this is important, pay attention, do this again. This system is obsessed with novelty. There's a famous term for this in biology, the Coolidge effect. The science is simple. The brain's reward system responds most powerfully not just to sex, but to new sex. Novelty is the key that turns the dopamine lock. For all of human history, that novelty was rare and hard to come by, until we invented something that broke the rules. Scientists call it a supernormal stimulus. Here's what that means. A robin is wired to sit on its small pale blue eggs, but if you put a giant, bright blue, fake egg next to its nest, the robin will abandon its own egg and try to sit on the giant fake one. Its ancient brain is hacked by a signal that is bigger and brighter than reality. Internet corn is a supernormal stimulus for the human brain. In fact, it is the most perfect supernormal stimulus ever created. It's a fire hose of novelty, a different partner every single click. It's the Coolidge effect on steroids, available 24/7, and it requires zero effort, zero vulnerability, zero risk of rejection. It's a reward that real-life intimacy was never designed to compete with. This high-intensity signal feels amazing at first, but your brain's ancient survival logic plots this massive imbalance, and it makes a critical, protective decision. Your brain is built for one thing above all else: balance. It sees this constant flood of dopamine not as a reward, but as an imbalance, an emergency. So it does what any smart system would do. It pulls the emergency brake. It begins to turn down the volume. Think of it like walking into a room where music is blasting at full volume. At first, it's overwhelming, but after 10 minutes your ears adjust. The music doesn't seem as loud. Your brain has turned down its own sensitivity to protect you. This is exactly what happens with dopamine. When the volume is too high for too long, the brain literally starts removing its own dopamine receptors. It's a process called downregulation. It's pruning the listeners at the door. This is tolerance, and it's a huge problem because now the same video, the same reward doesn't give you the same hit. The music is still blasting and you can barely hear it. This isn't just a theory, we can see it. A landmark 2014 German study found a stunning correlation. The more hours a man spent watching, the less gray matter he had in a key part of his brain's reward system. It's as if that part of the brain was physically shrinking away from the overstimulation. This is the engine of escalation, because your brain has turned its volume down to a 2. You now, unconsciously, start seeking a reward that's a 12. You need longer sessions. You need more extreme, more novel content, all just to feel the same baseline level of normal you used to get easily. This desensitization is one thing when it's just you and a screen, but it doesn't stay on the screen. It leads to the central, painful paradox of the entire loop. This brings us to the core of the trap. It's a concept that scientists call the wanting versus liking paradox. To understand this, you have to know that wanting and liking are two completely different systems in our brain. Liking is the feeling of pleasure. It's the actual enjoyment. It's driven by your brain's natural opioid system. It's a feeling of satisfaction. It has a ceiling. It tells you, that was good, we're done now. Wanting is the dopamine-driven motivation to get the reward. It's the craving. It's the feeling you get when you see the chocolate cake. It's the jolt of, I need that, go get it. This system doesn't have a ceiling. It just says more. In a healthy brain, these two things are aligned. You want what you like and you like what you want. But when the reward system is down-regulated, a strange split happens. The liking system, your ability to feel pleasure, gets weaker. The volume is turned down. The reward feels numb, empty, or even shameful. But the wanting system, your dopamine-driven craving, does the exact opposite. It becomes hypersensitive. It goes into overdrive. It's as if your brain, sensing it's not getting the pleasure it used to, just slams its foot on the motivation gas pedal. It screams, keep looking, keep seeking, click the next link. This is the very essence of the compulsive loop. It is the exact feeling of, I don't even like this anymore, so why can't I stop looking for it? You're not chasing pleasure. You are trapped in a dopamine feedback loop of pure, unfiltered wanting. And all the while, this process is weakening the most important part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex. This is your brain's CEO, the brakes. It's the part that says, stop, this isn't a good idea, go talk to your partner. But the go signal of the reward system becomes so loud, it just drowns out the stop signal. The connection is weakened, the brakes are cut. When this wiring problem gets bad enough, it stops being a secret, and it shows up in the most personal, painful way possible. This neurological loop, this engine of wanting, it doesn't stay locked inside your head. It shows up in the worst possible moments. The physical fallout is where the neurological becomes deeply personal. It's a condition doctors call porn-induced erectile dysfunction, or PIED. This is a specific, confusing, and often terrifying experience for men. It's when your body works perfectly fine when you're alone with a screen, but when you're with a real, in-person partner, it doesn't. Your body doesn't respond. It's easy to panic, to think, I'm broken, my body is failing. But here's the secret. This isn't a plumbing problem, it's a wiring problem. Your brain's reward pathway has been so strongly mapped to the specific high-intensity cues of a screen that it literally no longer recognizes the real-world cues of a partner. It doesn't respond to their touch, their smell, or their presence. The go button in your brain is wired to the wrong reward, and this exact same process is what kills emotional intimacy. Real, lasting human bonding, the feeling of being in love, isn't built on dopamine. Dopamine is the chase, it's the wanting. Real love is built on a different, slower set of chemicals, primarily oxytocin. This is the cuddle or commitment hormone. It's not a hit, it's a hum. It's released through shared vulnerability, eye contact, and quiet time together. It's what makes you feel safe. It's what builds trust. It's a slow burn, but a brain trained on an endless dopamine hit loses its patience for the slow, subtle work of real bonding. It mistakes that gentle, loving calm for boredom. It's a brain that's waiting for a spike, and all it gets is a plateau. It's the wall a partner feels. It's the numbness we feel on a date. So if it rewires the brain like a drug, if it creates tolerance like a drug, and if it creates devastating real-world consequences, is it a real addiction? The answer, like the problem itself, is not what you think. So, we have a behavior that rewires the brain, creates tolerance, and mirrors compulsion. This brings us to the central question. Is it a real addiction? The answer, you've probably guessed, is not what you think. For decades, this has been a fierce debate. On one side, the official psychiatric manual, the DSM-5, does not list porn addiction. The argument is that it isn't a substance you ingest. They might call it a compulsion, but not a true chemical addiction. On the other side, the World Health Organization does include compulsive sexual behavior disorder, and brain scans from researchers like Dr. Valerie Voon show that a compulsive user's brain lights up just like a drug addict's brain when shown a cue. So who is right? Here's the truth. The debate is all about semantics. It's an argument over a label, substance versus behavioral. For the person actually stuck in the loop, the label doesn't matter. Whether it's an addiction or compulsive behavior, the result is the same. A loss of control, a brain that has been rewired, and a life that is suffering the consequences. It's a pattern, not a permanent state. And because it's a pattern, it can be rewritten. That final concept is the most important one we have. It's neuroplasticity. It's a simple yet profound scientific idea. Your brain is not fixed. It is not a static block of concrete. It is a dynamic, living map that is constantly changing and rewiring itself based on what you do, based on what you pay attention to. The most famous saying in neuroscience is, neurons that fire together, wire together. This is the very process that created the problem. The repeated firing of that one pathway is what built that deep, compulsive groove. But here's the beautiful, hopeful truth. The same process that wired your brain for a screen is the exact same process that can rewire it for a person. The path that was built can be unbuilt. The go button can be remapped. This was never a moral failing. It was never a weakness of your character. It was a neurological pattern built by a supernormal stimulus. And patterns can be changed. The way back is a process of resensitizing your brain. It's not complicated, but it is hard. It starts with time and abstinence. It means starving that wanting loop and giving your brain's volume knob the time it needs to turn back. It starts rebuilding these dopamine receptors it pruned. It resensitizes itself, allowing normal to feel good again. It also requires actively retraining your brain. It means rewarding the boring. It's a process of relearning to find joy in normal stimuli, in hobbies, in exercise, in real face-to-face conversation. It's about teaching that go button to fire for things that genuinely build your life, not just things that help you escape it. Because real connection, real love is boring by design. It isn't a spike, it's a slow burn. It's subtle, it's calm, it's safe. It's not the frantic chase of dopamine. It's the deep, steady hum of oxytocin. And unlike the hit, it's real and it lasts.